Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, nice drummer. Yeah. Oh, this is the one. Woo. Oh, he's not done yet.
Woo. Mate, I'm so excited. That's a lovely fish.
G'day, Starlo here, and I'm back on the rocks, but today I'm fishing with my mate Roger Osborne. Now Roger is a famous beach fisherman, but he's also no slouch when it comes to rock fishing. He's brought me to one of his spots. We're going to chase some black drummer, rock blackfish, pigs, whatever you want to call them. Going to use prawns and burley, but I'm also going to try the Fishbites again. See how it goes stacked up against the prawns.
And here he is, right on time.
G'day, mate.
I reckon he must be as keen as I am.
Yeah, really good, mate. It's good to be able to have a fish together again.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Actually, it looks just about perfect for what we want to do.
Steve and I, we both love fishing for drummer.
I love fishing for them, I love catching them, and I love eating them.
Actually, almost for a while there, I would call drummer or rock blackfish my favourite fish to eat.
Certainly my favourite off the rocks in this part of the world. There are not too many things better to eat. And the funny thing is that a lot of people don't realise that. They get them mixed up with luderick, and there's nothing wrong with luderick to eat. Blackfish, they're fine, but drummer are next level, aren't they?
They're amazing.
Let's have a walk over here and have a look first, though, before we even rig up and start casting. I know you always do that when you go rock fishing, and so do I, and I think it's a mistake that a lot of people make. They're so eager to get out on the rocks, they just rush over and make a cast without even having a look at the spot first. Just from a safety point of view, I like to spend about 10 or 15 minutes just watching the swell.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you all the way, mate.
Let's go and do it.
Okay. We'll go for a little wander. How about we go over here?
Yeah.
And we'll work our way along.
Yeah.
And we can survey the headland. Now, I know people are listening obviously to you and I talking now, but it's like you said, when you get down to the rocks, you need to have a good look. And a big part of that is watching where the waves break from a safety point of view, but also where you're going to fish, etc. Now, when we're fishing for drummer, we're generally looking for areas that we call a wash, where any food, like weed or crabs or goodies, may get stirred up and washed, drain back into the water. So when we walk along this rock shelf, that's what we're looking for. So can you see anything that looks all right?
Look, it all looks pretty good to me, and I take it down to an even more sort of micro level and look for little chutes like this, both places where the wave is washed across the ledge and then it drains down through a crack, and you'll get drummer actually right in there. It's funny, a lot of people will get on a rock like this, put a big sinker on and hoy their bait right out there. Now, if you're chasing a snapper or something, fair enough, but the drummer are lurking in right under your feet in these washes, and a lot of times I'll only cast a rod length or 2 rod lengths and just fish in close, and I imagine you're much the same.
You know, I'm really glad that you brought that up, Steve, because that is such important stuff, because it's amazing. You can catch them in a tiny little thing where they come up to feed, and you can literally just drop your line over the edge like that. And you're looking for these little shoots, like you said. So this is, while this is kind of very calm, where we're standing just here, super safe, you could potentially pull a couple of fish out of there.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you've got when the slightly bigger waves come in, they create a little bit of a wash into there. And also, Steve, where we are here, there's lots of kanji.
I know, it's such a food-rich bit of intertidal country here with all the kanji. We know there'll be heaps of crabs living in amongst that kanji. There's cabbage weed growing there, and when the sea's a bit bigger, a bit of that'll get broken off and washed in. And I'll just automatically just stand there and kick something.
So here's a good example of a little wave coming through, creating, and look, you can see the weed here. Yep. The green weed that grows. Often when you're looking for places to catch fish, you want to look for the food that the fish eat. And if there's an abundance of that, then that's a really good sign. Like, can you see that rock over there, all the green weed on that one?
Yeah.
Like, there's a heap, actually right along the front there. And you know, this spot here, you couldn't fish it in big waves.
No.
Or even high tide.
And especially not anything from the northeast, because you're facing basically northeast. We've got a light south to southwesterly wind blowing today, so it's absolutely perfect. But I'll tell you the other thing I do, no matter how calm and benign it is, when I look at a spot like this and I'm rock fishing, I make a game plan in my head for what I'd do if myself or someone else ended up in the water. And the obvious thing here would be to swim away from the rocks and into the beach. The beach is only 50 metres away. It'd be an easy paddle with your life jacket on to go in and get out on the beach. And I think if you go through that process every time you fish, you'll probably never need to use that game plan.
Yeah. No, I do the same. I always look and see where's an exit point, where's a safe exit point that I could get out of the water if I fell in. And like you've explained here, the beach is really close. It would be a gentle paddle.
It would, and the only way you're going to end up in the water today is by falling in.
Yeah, if you're not watching where you're going.
Exactly.
Do you want to just walk over and have a look at that bit as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm chafing at the bit to get a bait in the water.
So Steve and I have walked along the shelf a little bit, and we're just going to have a little evaluation of this location. It looks really good for catching drummer, but directly in front of us there's a step down onto a flat shelf, and then it goes quite deep off the edge of that. And typically when you hook drummer, they'll want to take us underneath that ledge, because we can't stand out there. We can't get down there and stand on the edge. We'd have to cast out over it. So this ledge ends at this point just over here, and you're much closer. So I reckon standing over there, you don't have to try and have your line going down over the ledge, or even this corner here.
Yep.
We don't have that big flat bit of rock in front of us.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point.
And it'll be good to watch this wave.
This is a big swell coming in now.
Yeah. I mean, we're relatively protected here, but you still have to be very careful.
Well, exactly, and we can tell by watching this one whether we're going to get wet standing up there, and that looked pretty good to me. You might get wet up to, the knees at the most, and there's no force or power in it, so it's quite safe.
And from your experience, how do you rate that as far as looking as a?
Oh, it's an 8 out of 10. Look, even the dolphins agree.
Where are they?
There's two big ones just out here. You'll see them again in a second.
Now, there's one really big key for drummer fishing, and that is.
I don't know.
That is burley.
Oh, burley.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's burley.
Absolutely. I use burley just about every time I drummer fish. I have gone drummer fishing just walking around the rocks and prospecting into the washes without burley, and I've caught fish. But if you want to concentrate them and get them in a feeding mood, you can't beat a bit of burley. A bit of stale bread mixed with salt water, a little bit of the green weed, the cabbage mixed in with it and thrown in the water makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
I reckon it could even be 200 or 300% difference.
I'd say so, yeah.
Like a really big difference. I never usually go without burleying. I think it's enough evaluation, Steve.
Time to go fishing. I'm really interested. You've got the bobby cork rig there. I guess when you think about it, there's probably 3 strategies for targeting drummer off the rocks. There's a float setup like you've got. There's the very light running ball sinker that I really like to use, and some people actually use a paternoster rig with a sinker on the bottom and a dropper above it. And further south on the coast, that's a really popular way to target drummer. Yeah,
they actually get them.
And they get them. Yeah. But I very rarely use that. I'm a big fan of the lightly weighted running sinker rig. You're a big fan of the bobby cork. Let's see which one's going to produce first up.
Yeah, and what we do, we're going to explain certain parts of this ledge will suit the bobby cork, and certain parts won't. Certain parts will be much better off fishing with a little ball sinker on the hook. So we're going to kind of do both. Steve will probably start fishing with the ball sinker on the hook. I'll have a few casts with the bobby cork, and then we can teach around that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's about as long as I can talk about fishing without actually doing it. I'm going to go and rig up.
I've got some bread here that I'm just going to wet. And when I burley, all I do is wet some bread like that, and I want it to sink. I don't want, some of it's going to float, but I want most of it to sink. So I'm actually using my thumb and I'm turning this into like a pudding, and I'm letting that water go through it. So I'm going to chuck some in here, and then as soon as I've chucked this in, I'm going to chuck my float out with some bread on it. We're just starting at one end of this particular rock platform, and we're going to work our way along, and that's really how you do it a lot of the time. And nearly every rock platform along the coast has rock blackfish on it. So it's just a matter a lot of the time of just doing your own exploring and prospecting. So I'm chucking this bread down just into the wash, into this little kind of wash where it's going to swirl it out. I'm not casting it, chucking it very far from the shore. So I'm chucking that bread in. The next thing for me to do is to set the depth. I've got to look at that water and estimate how deep it is, roughly, because I want my bait to be suspended off the bottom. And if you'd like to know how to set up my float rig, I've made another video on it. Check the link for it, which goes into detail on how to rig up. I don't think it's mega deep there, but I'm setting that about 5 feet. Now I'm going to put my bait on. So I've got my slice of bread. I'm going to take the crust off, and I use that for my next round of burley. I whack it in my container, and I'm going to take a nice big chunk of bread, the lovely soft middle part of the bread, and you can see my hook. I'm just going to place the barb in the center. You can't see it coming out the other side. I'm going to curl it around inside there, and then the top part, the barb of the hook is down here. I'm going to compact it on the top part. That helps hold it on. So now you can see I've got my bread, quite a large bread bait. I'm going to whack it in. I'm going to watch my float, and the idea is to wait for that float to be pulled under the water, which signifies me getting a bite. So let's just see if I get a bite. I'm not really casting very far. All I'm doing is just flicking it down into the general area where that burley just went. Now once I've done that, I need to carefully watch the float at all times, because if there is a fish there, now I don't know if there's a fish there until I put a bait in the water and see what happens. Okay, it just went under. Man, that guy, that was first cast. That guy pulled really hard. He pulled me right under the rocks. But look at that. That's a beautiful rock blackfish. Well and truly over legal size. Look at that. They are awesome to eat. I've got to tell Starlo. He's just over there. And I've come over here and I've whacked my float in and got one straight off. Hey, Starlo!
Can't help himself.
I'm actually going to take it over and put him in my bucket.
Legal?
Yeah.
On the float?
Yeah.
And the bread?
First cast.
Bread or prawns?
Bread. Look, I'll show you.
Oh, he's a nice fish.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not huge, probably 33 centimetres long, but to me, they're the best eating ones. From legal to about that 40, 45 centimetre range, I find them much tastier than the bigger ones.
And it's amazing, Steve, these have a really good, what you call, yield.
They do.
As opposed to some other fish which, when you fillet them, you don't get as much meat, but drummer have so much meat on them. So this guy is going in the fry pan.
I'm not even rigged up yet. He's not bad, is he?
I was pretty keen to get it in the water, but I was kind of, my float was already, oh, shoot. The drummer has got around its gills, it's got a gill plate that's quite sharp, and he did get me. I put a Band-Aid on because I was bleeding a fair bit, but this kind of edge of his gill plate is what got me. Just going to get some of this bread that I had sitting in here. What pound line have you got on, Steve?
I've got 10-pound braid and a 16-pound leader. What are you running?
I've got mono and it's just straight 20, believe it or not.
20, yeah. No, that's good.
So I'm just going to whack a bit more bread in there, see if I can get another bite. We'll just give it here 5 or 10 minutes only.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll move around to that other water that looks very fishy. I was just doing this and dropping it in on the edge. Steve suggested that my float might have been a little bit deep, which I think he's right, because when I got the bite, it didn't actually drag the float under the water, it dragged it sideways. So I've just pulled my stopper down a little bit and made it less deep. So I'm probably only fishing about 4 feet deep. I used a cross for burley. I generally get 3 or maybe 4 baits out of a piece. And then what I do is I'm very careful not to crush it. I get the hook and I actually bury it inside so you can see it doesn't come out the other side.
Right.
I curl it around like that. Then the top part up here I compress.
Right.
I leave the bottom part like a fluffy thing. I compress the top part. That holds. That's a bit of
Little bit of human blood on there.
bit of free blood.
Oh, and quite a big bait like that.
Yeah, a big bait. And you imagine how they like the look of that.
Yeah.
So I'll let you cast out, and then after
Alright.
you've cast out, I'll pop a line out. Oh, that was quick. Probably a drummer. Oh, he's got a bit of grunt in him. I'm going to pull my line out of the way. I don't want to get in your way.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's
Trevally.
a trevally.
Little silver trevally.
Which rod is that you're using?
That's that Dialuna.
Ah, the Dialuna.
Shimano Dialuna, yeah, I really like it. Yeah, might be a few of those guys around today.
Well, see, I'm just floating out there and just going to see if I get a bite. That's where I got that fish, where the float is now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
But I've
prime.
shortened it up just a fraction.
There we
You're
go.
on again?
That's a drummer.
That's a drummer?
I reckon so. No,
What is it?
that's
it's a-
a wrasse.
It was pulling pretty hard at first.
Female crimson banded wrasse. Oh well, there's plenty of action here.
It's a nice light little sinker.
Yeah, I usually start with a little 00 ball, the smallest or second smallest that you can get. And
Yeah.
if I find that it's washing around too much, I'll go up to the next one, but I'll even fish unweighted if it's really calm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, you're on.
What is it?
Not a drummer, I don't think.
Oh no, it's not.
Ah,
It's
a leather
big
jacket.
It's a
What
leather
a
jacket
beauty.
on bread.
Big 6
Look at
pound leather
that.
jacket. That's good eating.
Whoa! Look at this leather jacket.
That's a cracker.
He's quite big, Steve.
He's a beauty for off the rocks. Get a lot like that out in the boat.
Would you believe that took some bread?
That's amazing. Everything eats bread though.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Amazing. It's lots of colours, but he's really good to eat, so I'm going to keep him.
Absolutely.
Take him back. Look at those sharp teeth. He'd bite your finger off. Yeah, man, you would never put your fingers near the mouth of a leather jacket.
That's the only drawback with using the prawns is that you do tend to get a fair bit of bycatch. That's a wrasse as well, little female crimson banded wrasse. The males are much more brightly coloured.
Now, I've put a prawn bait on the float. Let's see what happens
Oh,
with
you've got a
that.
prawn under the float now?
I've just whacked a prawn bait on, yeah. Okay, so I've got one. He's gone up over here. Oh, another drummer.
Not quite. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
he's-
probably legal,
He's
but
probably just, but
Yeah.
I think we'll let him go.
I reckon so.
I'm going to let this go. He's a legal size, but I'm going to let him go because we expect to catch more and bigger. I actually put a piece of prawn on that
yeah.
time.
Oh,
Oh, looks like Steve's onto something. Oh, woohoo! Is he taking you in the... Oh, mate, that's a good fish, Steve.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, nice drummer.
Oh, bring him round there.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow, I think Steve's got quite a solid fish on there.
This is the one. Woo. I'm using the waves to just bring him up here. Oh, he's not done yet. I'll wait for this next wave. Not quite.
That's a solid fish, Steve.
Yeah, I'm
Do you want me to
just
try
gonna
and
wait
go?
for
I'll go down and grab him?
No, I'll just wait for the
You
next
wait?
wave.
Okay.
Come on, waves. Not going to get one at the moment. So I'll just slide him up there.
Oh, look at that. Woohoo! Mate, I'm so excited. That's a lovely fish.
Yeah, that's a good drummer. Pig, black tank, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's probably about 1.3, 1.4 kilos, that one. Maybe even 1.5. He's got some real heft to him. Ah, happy about that.
That's a really nice fish, Steve. That's what we like to catch, isn't it?
The fillets off that are so thick that that one fish would easily feed 2 people.
Yeah, yeah. You'd have a lovely feed.
Now what I'm going to do straight away with this drummer is just brain spike him, icky spike him with the knife. He'll kick a little bit. And then I'm going to bleed him.
This is my whole tackle box for today.
There's no doubt about you, Roger.
That's it, mate. Everything's in there for both types of fishing.
So do you find crunchy or smooth peanut butter produces the best tackle box?
Definitely crunchy. So yeah, you can travel really light, which is cool.
Might try some crab. Everything on the rocks eats crabs, surely.
Yep, time to try the fish bites, maybe as a combo.
It's just a lovely day to be fishing.
So good.
I can notice how the kanji's more exposed now.
Yeah.
The tide going out a bit.
Oh, that was a good bite. Yeah.
Good bite?
Yeah, good bite. I reckon it got the bit of prawn. Yeah, got the bit of prawn, but the fish bites are still on there.
What is in that bait?
11 different herbs and spice. I don't know, it's American.
I saw you get carp on that bait.
Yeah, and I got a heap of flathead the other day offshore on it too.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. I made a video comparing it to natural bait, and I was fishing a pilchard on one hook
Okay.
and this on the other, and this
Yeah.
actually outfished the pilchard 3 to 1.
Is that right?
I'm getting plenty of action on the fish bites today as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what happened there?
Grabbed it as soon as I moved it. Another
Okay.
drummer,
Yeah, it's a drummer.
and that's
There you
just on the fish bites, nothing else. It works.
How big would he be?
He's legal.
He's legal?
Yeah, I'll measure him up. But
You'll measure him up.
I'll measure him, but I'm pretty sure he's legal.
He sure was, well and truly actually. We're getting a nice bag together here.
Oh yeah, there we go. What do we got? That doesn't feel. That's another leather jacket. And that's on the. Oh, that's on the fish bites. There's some big leather jackets here. That's a good one. Not quite as big as Roger's, but still a very nice 6-spine leather jacket. And they're good to eat as well, so we're going to hang on to that. It's going to be quite a cook-up, Rog.
Well, yeah. I think it'll be delicious. He's all right.
Yeah, not quite
He's
as
a good
big as
one.
yours, but he's a good one.
Oh, it's close.
On the fish bites.
Wow, look at that.
So my thoughts so far on the fish bites versus the prawns, well, I'm definitely getting a few less bites on the fish bites, especially straight away. As soon as the prawn goes in the water, you're getting bites. Whereas with the fish bites, it seems to have to stay in there for a little bit longer, probably for the scent to get to them. Definitely as you fish the fish bites for longer and it softens up, you get more bites. And then the bites are really serious ones. And the nice thing is, it stays on the hook, unlike the prawns. Probably the best of both worlds, though, has been a cocktail of a small piece of prawn and some fish bites. That's definitely ticking all the boxes. It's interesting.
I've got a fish, but I don't think it's a drummer. It's got a little bit of weight in it. It's pulling a little bit of drag, actually. It might be a drummer. After all, I've got to get up onto this shelf. What is it? Yeah, nice drummer, actually. Oh, I'm going to lift him straight up. That's a lovely fish. Not quite as big as Starlo's, but beautiful fish. Now that's a lovely drummer. I think Starlo's still winning, but this is a beautiful fish. He pulled quite hard. I wasn't sure at first. He didn't bite all that strongly. Man, I can't really get my hand around him. He's pretty solid. Just a lovely fish. I'll tell you what, the cooking part later, I can hardly wait. It's going to be awesome.
What have we got this time? Oh, another leather jacket. Tell you what, I like the fish bites. Oh, we might as well hang on to him. They're good eating. Woo. Roger, I could just about eat this now. I'm starving. Can we go and cook some up?
Yeah, I reckon, mate. I'm keen. Let's go.
All right.
So we are doing the cleaning and prepping the fish, getting ready to eat. Got a lovely big fillet of drummer here. Got a few fillets of drummer.
And the fire's looking good. It's nearly down to coals, which is what you want. Tell us what you're doing, Rog.
So we're going to have both leather jacket. I actually should put the leather jacket separate to the drummer so we know.
Yeah.
We know which is
So what's that?
That is a piece of leather jacket,
Okay.
which has been crumbed.
Right.
And I'm just, look, really basic. Broke a couple of eggs and whisked them into this takeaway container. Got a few panko crumbs in that one.
Gotta love panko crumbs.
And we're just going to give them a nice little coating with the panko crumbs. I'm going to put the leather jacket up that end.
Yeah.
Now that's a bit of drummer.
All right, let's do a bit of drummer.
A little bit of drummer. Tell you what, I'm really going to enjoy this. Now, that one's more leather jacket. That's a bigger piece of drummer.
Big piece of drummer. Let's do that. I'll get that one on first.
Yep, so we've got this lovely piece of drummer there. And that's not a whole fillet, that's just a bit of a fillet.
That's about a quarter of a fillet. I'm going to take those pieces over, Rog, and get them going.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear a gentle sizzle.
This one's definitely ready, Rog.
Okay, now that was a bit of drummer, wasn't
That
it?
was a little bit of drummer.
Beautiful, and the other ones are coming along quite well.
They are.
Mate, I tell you what, I am going to make you up
All right.
a wrap.
You're on.
I'm going to make Steve up a little fish taco. It's not the normal fish taco recipe. You really can keep things pretty simple. Actually, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on there. Just a little bit of salt. And I'm going to whack a bit of this slaw onto it. This is just store-bought slaw, so you know, nothing over the top.
Look at that.
You're the first. You get the first sample of the drummer.
Wow. That is so nice with the slaw.
It's a handy way to eat it in like a little tortilla or a wrap. Really super simple, easy way to eat fish.
Don't need a plate.
No.
So good.
I can hardly wait.
Notice you gave me the small piece.
Now we do have, you remember which is the jacket, don't you? The leather jacket.
There's only one, that's the piece of drummer, and then the rest is all leather jacket in there.
Now all I'm doing, mate, is putting a bit of salt on that and putting a bit of slaw on it.
Well, whatever you did, it's working.
I mean, it's really simple, basic food, but just a wonderful piece of drummer there with some slaw. I reckon I could eat about 5 of these.
Oh, the first one didn't touch the sides.
Well, mate, what a great day.
What a great way to finish up.
Yeah. In a beautiful spot, eating some lovely fish, and we really had some fun down at the rocks.
It's so easy, that kind of fishing too, isn't it? You need to think about what you're doing and think about the safety aspects, but apart from that, you fish light, you fish simply, and you catch fish.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. We love making these videos, don't we, Steve?
Sure do.
Love getting out there, just having a great time in the outdoors and catching beautiful fish. We'll see you in the next video.
If you liked watching this as much as we enjoyed making it, please subscribe to both of our channels and check out these other 2 episodes. Until next time, tight lines.